science fiction writers, black science fiction writers. We call ourselves the State of Black Science Fiction. We got together a few years ago because of that same thing that you were talking about. How do we get our word out? How do we get people to know what we're doing? And we got together and we said, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to go out into the community. We got in contact with libraries and universities and said, look, this is what we are. Because I learned this from a guy who does, he's a, what do you call these guys? He's a motivational speaker. And I went to a thing about, he was a writer there, and he said, I don't see how you fiction guys do it. He said, because I'm a motivational speaker. I have a platform. And my platform is to go out and motivate people. And once I motivate and I talk about what I do, then I sell my books. That's my platform. That's how I get people interested in what I do. And I started thinking about it. I said, well, as a fiction writer, what would be my platform to do that? So we decided our platform would be to talk about black speculative fiction, the obstacles and different things like that. So we went to different universities and stuff, and we found out that Georgia Tech actually has a degree in science fiction. And Lisa Yazik is the person that's over the department. And she said, yeah, I would love you guys to come and do a presentation for us. So we did the presentation with her. Then we started doing it with local libraries. And we do youth symposiums and different things like that. And then we took that organization, was not an organization, the collective, and we made a Facebook page called the State of Black Science Fiction. We called it State of Black Science Fiction 2012 because we didn't know it was going to go beyond 2012. And by the time we would change the name, we had too many members and we couldn't change it. So now we've got about 3,000 members. And what that has done is it's created a place for people who are looking for what we do to come and get information. And not only do we promote what we do, we promote other writers and other artists that do speculative fiction. But we have one condition, is that nobody can come here and vent. This is not about crying about what you're doing and why people aren't reading and stuff like that. This is if you bring a problem, then have a solution. Because we're about solving problems, we're about promoting what we do, and so we're working it on the, on the ground level, on the grassroots level, by going out into the community and giving events. But we're also working it on the social media level by having this main particular page on Facebook that we connect with our own websites, and we're creating a network. We're building our market by creating this network and bringing people to it, and then they're bringing their friends to it. And then but one thing we found out, which is interesting, is that the people who come to us on the internet, they never come to our events like this because they want to be on the internet. They don't want to go outside. They basically want to do everything on the internet. So we have like two groups of followers. We have the people online, and we have the people who come out to conventions and to meetings like this. And it's really and it's helping us spread our word. It's helping us spread basically these black speculative fiction concept in general. I've attended, this is my third year doing Dragon Con, and everybody knows the Dragon Con is the big speculative fiction thing here. I started out paying to go there. Now they invite me as a pro, and I attend panels. I participate on the panels, and I talk about what I do, and I talk about other stuff. So we're starting to get the word out there and do the awareness and get into the community, like you say, to let people know that what we're doing. And again, we're not only promoting ourselves, we promote anybody else, and we're an open group. If you're in Atlanta and you do speculative fiction and you want to get on panels, we say, let us know. We'll let you know our events. You can come to the tables with us and discuss it. We don't always have the same writers because some people can't make it sometimes, so we bring other people in. And we still really haven't scratched the surface. There's so much more we could do. We are being active in there because it's mutually beneficial. It gets more readers for us, and we feel like we make more people aware of what we do, because we spend so much time with entertainment now, and a lot of us get our images of who we are and what we should be doing from entertainment. And when you look at speculative fiction, which is very popular now, Harry Potter, Hunger Games, all that kind of stuff like that, I have parents coming to me saying their kids are coming to them saying, I like this stuff, but where are the kids that look like me? Yeah. Where are the action heroes that look like me in these things? And so we're focusing on that now. We put a call out to the writers, say, look, guys, if you had a passion in you, write this stuff, because there are people out there that want it, and it's going to make a difference. So that's what we do.
So I'll give a WonderRoot answer, then I'll give a personal answer. So from a WonderRoot perspective, our methodology, if you will. We don't try to create programming for the community. We're very big on creating programming with the community. So the vast majority of our programs are partnerships and collaborations with other entities that we work with to bring something to fruition. So it's not us trying to tell any group of people what they should be doing. It's someone from a certain community that says, we want to change this. Would you help us or work with us to help change this? And we work in that capacity. So from our standpoint, we're very big on collaborating with whomever may walk through our door, and we try to accommodate as much as we can given our bandwidth. Now, from a personal standpoint, I'm from Atlanta, grew up here, and so I always push back just a little bit when I hear people say Atlanta is this, fill in the blank there. And I think that lots of people say that Atlanta, I've heard the word cliquish before, and I've heard different versions of that, of what you talked about. I think that on the flip side, and there's always a tipping point, I think whenever artists have an opportunity to create, they start with the folks who are closest to them, the folks who are around them. So if you are an artist, you tell your closest friends, they tell their friends, and sometimes a scene kind of gets started. So maybe it isn't cliquish, maybe those are the people who just support that particular thing in that particular neighborhood, community, whatever you may, witness. So I think that sometimes if you're on the outside looking in, it may seem as though they're being cliquish, but what I would say is walk over to the clique. Walk in, introduce yourself. That's right. And I say that to say, be willing to be somewhat of an explorer. I'm someone, this is my city, so I feel comfortable going in any neighborhood in this city. And maybe that's because I grew up here, so I have a different level of comfort maybe within, whether it's east side, west side, Alpharetta, down south. Like I'm comfortable in this city. So I'm very much an explorer, or I'm willing to go places where I may not know anyone, but I figure I'll meet someone while I'm there. And I think that lots of people can get comfortable here in their own, because there's this balance of this being a very comfortable place. So sometimes people get comfortable within their community, and maybe they don't feel the need to go beyond that.
That's right.
So be willing to be uncomfortable. And I think like that's something that people that I would, from a personal standpoint, be willing to be uncomfortable in your own surroundings, because you don't know who you might meet or whose art or whose work you may fall in love with. So that's more or less, I think, my personal slant as it relates to that. And one last thing, when it comes to putting things out into the world, from an infrastructure standpoint, Atlanta does not have the same media capacity as New York to promote the arts in a very robust way. And I'm not saying that as a slight, I'm saying that from a factual perspective. Right. When you look at the New York Times, there are usually like 3 different art sections in the New York Times.
Yeah.
So that tells you something. When you have the flagship publication of that city, one of the best in the world, some would argue, that promotes the arts in a very robust way. Atlanta does not have the same scale of newspapers nor publications as some other cities. So it may seem like people aren't working to put things out, but people are working really hard to put things out. Right. It's just that they're working within the existing infrastructure. Right. So it may take more social media than, in print publications. It may take more word of mouth than you may see in other capacities, but people are working really hard. I think it's just a matter of being open and being patient whenever those opportunities do cross your path.
You were listening to the Artist King panel discussion, What is Good Art? The panelists were Floyd Hall of WonderRoot, Neal Hamilton of nealhamilton.com, and Milton Davis of mvmediaatl.com. Join us October 7th for the Artist King panel discussion, Women in the Arts, Where Are the Women Artists? This panel will feature Alisa Lewis of Asifa, Atlanta, Tamika Grooms of TamikaTheArtist.com, IP art attorney Deborah Gonzalez Esquire, Yumbai of Yumbai.com, Liz Sanquich of BlazinBreakhouse.com, and roles of Women's Caucus for Art of Georgia and moderating will be Tracy Morrell of TracyMorrell.com. Please visit artistking.org for complete listing of the Artist King 2014 panel discussions and venues involved. I am DTM of Delta Tango Mike, and we will see you next week for another episode of Artist King Podcast.